very good evening to you. Thanks for joining us on the Tuesday edition of the show. I'm Yemi Adebayo.
Wherever you are in the world watching us in London, I'm Austin Okonakwa. I mean, it's good to be back on the show. What a story for Team Nigeria. After that, let me leave it to the viewers to describe what sort of Commonwealth games it was for Team Nigeria, but they were positives.
Yes, they were. I'll be doing a review of everything that went down right there in Glasgow. And of course, we will also be previewing what's going to go down tomorrow at the Women's African Cup of Nations. Of course, we'll be hoping at some point to link up with our very own Cecilia Morogwe, who is right there in Morocco. But first, before we go to all of that, let me quickly introduce our guest in the Lagos studio. Kehinde Idris joins us now. Kehinde Idris, greetings to you. Thanks for finding time to be with us on the show tonight.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here, and I think exciting time right from after the Commonwealth Games. Particularly happy, not Team Nigeria, in particular, but the athletes who were, so involved. And then the Super Falcons, how they rewrote the story against Zambia with a man down. I think we're all looking forward to the Egypt game. Hopefully, the start of the champion stuff, will continue against Egypt, and then we go into the knockout round. So, rich menu. Let's get into it.
All right, let's get into it. Let me allow Austin, before we begin to do our review of what went down in Glasgow. Also, let me allow you to take the first bite. You were there. You saw many things, spoke with the dignitaries, spoke with the stakeholders, spoke with the athletes. So from a coverage perspective, how different was this?
It was really different because there was no games village. And in a way, it affected the athletes because they were scattered around Glasgow, Airbnbs, different apartments, hotels, And so, that feel that you have the moment you get into a major competition, particularly a multi-sports one, as a Commonwealth Games, you want to get into the games village. Some people go to the wall, write something, inspire themselves. So that wasn't, in Glasgow because it was a scaled-down event. We know the story was supposed to happen in Australia. Australia pulled out, and then Glasgow, Scotland rescued it, So the athletes, for them, any opportunity to compete, they would take it, So they had to get into competition mode and serve us what they have in terms of, their talent. Team Nigeria, when you look at the sports we went with, you want to say, maybe, just maybe, it was a very good tournament for the country. I'm saying maybe because I don't want to throw my, opinion out there. But for a lot of persons that I spoke to, particularly the athletes, Yemi and Kehinde Idris, they were delighted. They were happy, 10 gold medals, 7 silver, 7 bronze, 24 medals in total. Number 1 in the Africa medal table ranking. Last Commonwealth Games, guys, remember we had only the women winning gold. This is Ezekiel Nathaniel winning the men's 400 meters hurdles, gold medal. Chukwe Buka Enekweche winning shot put, gold medal for Nigeria. And of course, Samuel Ogazi, one I call for the future, one that we can believe and do something for us in Los Angeles 2028, including Ezekiel. So those were positives for Team Nigeria. We had 3 men winning gold medals, and the women, still did their thing. And in terms of preparation, Kehinde Idris, we definitely will come out and say, yes, we would have done better. And if we had done better in terms of preparation, maybe, just maybe, we could have also done better on the medals table. Do you agree?
I totally agree. And I always say that every day. And I've said this on Sports Tonight on Channels TV, that there is one thing that is as sure, just like day and night, that these athletes wake every day and do their part of this story. They wake every day. If you have to hit the gym first, they hit the gym, and then they go to their natural habitat, whether it is the field, the court, the ring, any of those. They put in their own shift, they contribute their own quota, and they just try to wait for the other part, which is where they cannot cover. the decisions made by, the administrators, facilities, welfareism, and all of that. That is where, your question is coming from. And see, after everything you've done, it is so funny in life, in sports, that you cannot do everything yourself. Some people have to take the mantle of doing the part you cannot, and that is where Team Nigeria always falter. Look at what we've done. 2 years from now will be the Olympics. How do we build on this? These are questions to be asked. But I'll tell you time and time again, for the athletes, they are ready for Olympics 2028.
All right.
What is not ready is how to help them cross the line when that time comes.
Okay.
That's the question we'll continue to ask, and also just ask again.
Kennedy Idris asking the big question. But today is the day for reviews, and let's let that not be lost on us. Day for reviews. Nigeria's performance as it just concluded 2026 Commonwealth Games held in Glasgow. Behind me, you can see the performance chart, the medal table, and just like Austin said, Nigeria coming out on top among the African teams. Whether or not we hit the target, we met the target, we'll talk about that one as well. But let's look at what we have. 10 gold medals, 7 silver, 7 bronze, a total medal haul of 24, closely followed by South Africa with 7, 11, 10, total of 28. Kenya came in with 3, 4, 5, 12. They're followed by Mauritius, Cameroon, Uganda, and Namibia. Kennedy Idris, I want you to react to 2 things quickly before we leave this matter altogether, and maybe Austin will help to shed more light because he was there. Some will argue that in a very scaled down performance that you took your A-list athletes, you should be doing better than this. Some, I didn't say all, some will say that. Some will say there are worrying signals if the athletes you expect to do well on the global stage came to a scale down. A case in point, 100-meter hurdles, 100 meters.
Coinsola.
Those two major events. So how do you react to that as a marker, as a yardstick to measure, not particularly focusing on the medal table alone?
Firstly, the Commonwealth nations have some of the best athletes in them, even when you go to the bigger scale competition. The Canadians, the UK, Jamaica, and all of that, they've got some of the top athletes. So it's not so scaled down. As much as they have some countries not coming with their A-listers to, this competition, but it is not scaled down.
So you don't agree?
I do not completely agree. But I feel that because of the complexity of the Olympics or a world championship, because when you have so many more people, surprises are in there, the known names are in there, you cannot compare it to this because you have lesser nation, lesser surprises, lesser known names and all of that. So you can, to an extent, agree a bit. But for that first reason that I mentioned, that the Commonwealth nations have got some of the, countries that have got some of the best athletes in them, and they are in this competition, it is a valid competition, and every medal won, and even the one that was lost, should be well kudos. Now, you talked about the top athletes. I think that's the worry. And I will tell you, Yemi, psychology plays a whole lot of things in everything that happens to us, especially in sport. Sometimes you see somebody lose and we go straight to one thing. They lost concentration. What is concentration? Your head. At a point you were in the game. At some point it just felt like you fell apart, and then in 6, 7, 10 minutes you already lost the game, and then you keep chasing, you couldn't meet up. And that is where I think we find our problem. Tobiloba Amusan, you can say everything about Tobiloba, but one thing you cannot say is that she is a top athlete. Toby works with Atta Mills. Atta Mills is one of the biggest athletics coach in the world, who is the coach of Usain Bolt as of the time when Usain Bolt was to come. So Atta Mills is up there. If you take your craft to, working with Atta Mills, then you are chasing something. Toby is at that level. Why is this happening? See, you can't take it away from the things happening before race day, before match day, before competition day. These are things that come together and pull you back. Now you are at the same level with another athlete on the track, and that athlete have got everything checked for him or her.
Every box ticked.
Every box ticked. The only thing from the moment the athlete is leaving the shores of their country is to get here, focus on the goal and get it done.
Nothing
but
else.
You have to focus on other things that so many people should be focusing on. This will drag you back. Remember, you are the same level with these athletes. Hey, the 20% added for them is the 20% that falters for us. So it's a fantastic competition. I love what we've done. And there is also the fact that we've got amazing young talents in our squad. Hopefully, they blossom into, that 2 years of the Olympics, and it gets us, even bigger. So, well done, guys.
All right, Kehinde is giving thumbs up to Team Nigeria. Let's listen to a man who's been there, who knows what it takes to, prepare a contingent for something as big as this. The former Director General of the National Sports Commission, Amos Adamu, sharing his thoughts with us in an exclusive interview with Channels Television.
With your assessment, what sort of Commonwealth Games was it for Team Nigeria?
It was good. It was good. I remember when we were there, we only struggled to get 5 or 6 medals. And the players now are younger and they are performing well.
In what you saw, in what ways can we improve, judging by your experience as a former DG of the NSC?
Well, we have a long way to go in preparation. We don't have time to prepare. We only wait for the games to come and then we start running up and down. These things are not done like that. When I came to the National Sports Commission in those days, I realized there was no any preparation doing. So when we finish the Olympic Games, I will choose about 30 athletes and take them abroad. Leave them with good coaches. I pay the coaches and I pay the athletes allowances. And they will be there for 4 years. Of course, we go there from time to time to look at what they are doing, their progress. And when we have competition, we bring them home. And that is when I started these allowances for them. They get their allowances, they know that they are working for us. And the coaches tell us their progress report. So by the time the next Olympic comes, when we bring them, they come. We have never gone to any games and come back 0 because we prepare for it. But that preparation too was depending on the money we are able to get. They don't fund sports in those days like now. They don't fund sports, and usually when we are looking for money for fund, they will wait until when sports has come. Some days to competition they will give us. I remember one day we went to Ghana for games, and everybody was saying there was dismal performance. Then the National Assembly called us to come and explain why we didn't perform well. The minister was saying, I said, I will go. When we went there, they asked us, dismal performance. I said, yes, dismal performance. When did you give us money? We think that those medals are there for sale. Of course, by the time you give us money, we got there. The medals have been sold. That is what we pay. And you say dismal performance. Let us now compare this assembly with other assemblies. Which position we look up? We are number 1 in some clubs. Number 1 in the world, not in UK. When we get to go at the Olympics, it's number 1 in the world. In all Africa games, we are always number 1 in many games. We are always winning. And what do you give us? So if you want us to perform, give us money. The athletes are not mechanical. That you put them on the track and you wind them and say, start running. They have to train. And if you give us money, you will see a better performance.
All right, Amos Adamu telling us how it was, how it's done, and of course the recipe for continued success in preparation for major sporting events. Austin, like I said, you were there. Your 2 cents on what you saw, especially the behind the scenes, hearing people who've been there. He's a man that wears a hat that has many feathers. and saying it as it is, telling, the people that are there now, this is what should be done. We've had these challenges in the past. When we had it, this was what we did to ensure that the athletes came out on top.
And that's one good thing the National Sports Commission did that I like. They invited past NSC chairmen to come, and give them their views, their experience on, taking Nigeria to the Olympics, the Commonwealth Games, the All-African Games. So Amos Adamu was there, Agbenga Elegbele was there, Alassane Yakmud was also there, and when these men sit with you and tell you this was our experience back in the day, these were the mistakes we made, let's not make that same mistake, then you will, do something good. Amos Adamu gave me arguably the most balanced analysis that I wanted to get about Team Nigeria, Say, look, if you want them to perform, put your money where your mouth is. And that is why this small performance that we've seen here, it is money that did it. You have to invest. Look at what Australia is doing. They are reaping from a 10-year plan that captured huge investments into their sport, and now we can all see it. Come back to Africa. Morocco is doing it. Small Botswana is doing it, So behind the scenes, the athletes, they are so happy. I don't want to call names. 3 different athletes told me, Mr. Austin, I couldn't pay house rent. But with the money that I've gotten here now, I'm doing just fine. A particular athlete will be going back home with about 25 to 30,000 US dollars. She never thought she would make that kind of money when she was coming here. And when people say, oh, we saw them flashing money, you can't stop these athletes. So they know what they are doing to pass the message that this was what we were suffering before. NSC can give them money in an envelope and they'll bring it out to tell people that, look, this is what we're not getting back in the day. They're happy. Favor Asher told me, he said, with what they've done for us at this Commonwealth Games, we now know that these things can be done, but some persons didn't want to do it. Chukwebuka Inekwechi said this is his best experience ever representing Nigeria. So if there's anything you want to give to Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his administration, nobody should come on me and say Austin is singing their praises. If you do well, we will say it. If you do not do well, we will say it. Kehinde Idris, this is our job, and that's what we call balance.
Yeah, exactly. We're never here to be critics. We're never here to pull anybody down. We say it as it is. Whenever you perform, we come out, analyze your performance, analyze how you got to that point, and then whenever you underperform, we also come out. The Super Falcons played a game. It was below par. We talked about it, where the coach got it wrong, where the players got it wrong. Some people particularly called out Chiamaka Inadozie in that game. And then the next game, they performed. Everybody, sang their praise and also added, you could do better with this and that. That's what we are caught up for. So whenever you do not do well and then you're called out, do not take it in a wrong way. Understand that our job is to not sugarcoat. Our job is to say it as it is, and that is why we are here today. And for me, I would always go back to what the athletes put in to be where they are now. Look at, from the time the athletic season opened in April, Nathaniel Ezekiel, even from last year, but I'm sticking to this year, Ogazi. In fact, I'm particularly sad for Koinsola Ajayi. They've been performing at the highest level. And that's why this looks like a capping of everything they've been doing. So, Well done, guys. And I don't have so much with the administrators. I stick with the, athletes. But for the athletes to have said they've got a proper head to be where they are today, then well done, administrators.
All right. Thumbs up, at least for now. And hopefully we don't go to hear any negative incidents. All right, we need to go on a break right about now, but just let our viewers know that when we return from that break on our DSTV platform, you will be on to Inside the Niger Delta with Mahmoudi Akuga, but on all our other platforms, many of them, as you already know, you'll still be with us. We'll still be talking sports here on Sports Tonight, where we delve into everything happening in your money spinning, fast-paced, entertaining, and also rewarding world of sports. Let's go for that break. We'll return for more on Sports Tonight. All right, welcome back. I think it's only fitting. We showed you, of course, the performance of African teams. I think it's only fitting, and Austin rightly mentioned it as well, to have a global perspective of, how it all ended, the teams that ended on the top. We'll talk about that as we move on. I'm just going to go across the screen in a bit. I'll do that and I'll pass the baton to Austin. And here you have it. At the end of the day, I mean, Australia reaping rewards for all that they've done. Of course, 70 gold, 45 silver, and of course, 56 bronze, a haul of 175, so followed by England and Canada. So it seems that their efforts are yielding fruit. And, talk about 10-year plan. Great Britain did this a while back too, that they found a way to re-engineer their sports and get things done. I mean, Austin, the people at the National Sports Commission seem, when it comes to what they say, they appear to understand what needs to be done. But I just hope they are not in it for just a moment. I hope they're in it for the long run.
You're so apt, and that's what I said to Bukola Olopade and Shehu Diko, that I hope this music is not just for this current, dancing steps that I was saying, that it has to be long term. But isn't it a Nigerian problem that we don't think long term? We just want to, do something on the short term and find a way to politicize it. That's why we're praying that this NSC and whatever vision that they have, when we listen to Shehu Diko, you'll understand what I'm talking about. The fact that they have first identified welfare. I have never seen Nigerian athletes this happy in my entire years of covering sports as a journalist. I have never. All of them, the ones that won, the ones that didn't win, they come out and they tell you that they love what they are saying, and that is why they feel so bad that back in the day we know the simple things to do and we're not doing it. So shout out to the NSC, a shout out to the presidency also for, clean the basics. This is basic that when athletes do well, you give them, a tap on their back to say, well done. Persons might come and say, oh, is it about money? Is it about money? Yes, that's the first stop for athletes. They have families. They have breadwinners. Some of them, their conditions, particularly our special athletes, they need to be top-notch. They need to have their medicals. They have to have physio. They need to have people check them regularly. It costs money. So this is very, very pivotal. Yeah, so let's hope that it's for the long run. They've gone to Oregon now for another championship. After that, we'll get ready for, the long preparation for the Olympics, which the NSC said they already have things in place for that. You know what? Let's listen to Shehu Diko. He's the chairman, National Sports Commission.
Yeah, of course. I think we clearly missed our objectives, and I think we even surpassed the objective of what we want to do, because the objective are manifold. So it depends on the way you look at it. First and foremost, we said we want to have a best performance that we can put together, and I think so far so good from all internal purposes. Comparatively, this is the best performance ever for Nigeria at the Commonwealth Games. Secondly, we want to see the position of the work that we have done the last 2 years. How far are the athletes doing, the preparations and what have you, and the arrangement and the way the Team Nigeria is working. And we have seen a very, very good scenario on that. And the final outcome is very good. So we want to see what our elite athletes will do, the gaps and everything, because we also have an eye. The Commonwealth Games is not the final on its own. It's part of the process. The end of the game is to make sure that we arrive at the Olympics in 2028, which is the final and the global activities well prepared. And also to see that the young ones that we brought on the table are also developing to see what they're doing. So everything has come together the way we wanted. As I speak to you, a lot of our athletes are on the plane off to Oregon to participate in the World Under-20s. So it shows who are participated here. Everything is quite brilliant. And then the facts behind the numbers, Nigeria was the top African country, the top 10 among the top countries.
So with everything that I've seen, are you now convinced that Nigeria
is beyond a football country?
Absolutely. It's very clear. Since we came in as the National Sports Commission, we told everybody that every sport is there to us. Every sport will be given the necessary tools and necessary enablers to be able to live his dreams and to also be to develop the way he should. And that's what we have been doing. The kind of activities we have done across all sports over the last 2 years have shown clearly what is happening today. And even the followers of athletics, for example, everybody is excited because in all the sport we entered in the athletics, we virtually get medal everywhere. Yes, might not be gold, but every sport have come up with a medal around the athletics. Before, it used to be one of the best things that happens in Nigeria. Athletics to do that. And we know, for example, the deficit that we are now seeing with the boxing, for example, that we need to go back and work with the Boxing Federation and put in more money because that's one of our comparative advantage. Even though some of our boxers that we had hope here to deliver medals, they actually did their best. Some of them we even compensated them because we knew it is the politics of boxing that kicked them out, not the performances that they have done, and which also aligns to our vision that we need to work to support Nigerians at every level to be part of the international bodies.
Yeah, that's the chairman of National Sports Commission, Shehu Diko. Look, hey, Idris, when I was having that interview, I was looking at him straight in the eye because I wanted to, judge his sincerity and be sure that they are not just saying things just because of how it is at the moment. After listening to him, are you convinced that Nigeria is now on the right track towards sports development?
I am. I'm an optimistic person, and if you're a Nigerian, one of the ways you can help yourself every day is to put optimism right in front of you, because we know that as a people, we can be way better than what we are. So, we can be hopeful that just add a little bit of administrative top-notch, the people are always ready. But I think if I was there with Shehu Diko, I would have asked him, are you not happy seeing these athletes happy? Does it not give you joy that you took your children out and they are looking at you with so much joy because of the way you've helped them, and then they perform and then you all are happy together? Is it not a thing of joy? So why not do bigger and better for them? So fantastic interview, and everything he has said, I love it. Hopefully, like Yemi had said, it won't be a one-off, it will be just for this period, it will be something continual. Hopefully. We can remember from 92, the United Kingdom, England, saw Nigeria topping them after the Olympics, and they said this will never happen. And since then, Nigeria has never in any tournament been ahead of England. Hopefully,
that's the operative word here in Nigeria. Hopefully.
Yeah.
All right, that's a good place to let it land, talking about the Commonwealth Games. It's time to proceed to talk about the big one, the Women's African Cup of Nations. We're going to go into that segment when you see us on the other side. All right, so we're into that segment where all we do is to talk about the Women's African Cup of Nations. And as you already know, our colleague Cecilia Omorogbe is on standby. She's right there in Morocco and will be, joining us on the show shortly. But let me just quickly go across to let you in on the big one for tomorrow involving the Super Falcons of Nigeria. The decider, very, very important game tomorrow that decides where everyone ends. It's on knife edge. Egypt take on Nigeria. Well, no disrespect to the Egyptians, you could call them the whipping girls if you want to say it that way. Of course, Malawi and Zambia. Some fans are happy that these two will get to cancel themselves out, and maybe Nigeria might still end up as group winners. Let me yield to Austin. I don't know if you share that same sentiment. And before I allow Austin to talk about that as well, this is the group standing just to help you understand what I just said. Malawi, leading, debutants leading with 6 points, followed by Zambia, Nigeria, then of course Egypt, who there's no way they can get anything from this tournament. A draw, of course, keeps Malawi on top of the group if he ends that way for them, and who knows, maybe a loss. But some arrangements here and there, Nigeria could still end up on top of the group. Let me quickly yield to Austin to get his thoughts, even as we bring Cecilia to the show.
It's a very, very difficult situation for the Super Falcons, but I've told them, focus. Don't listen to all these permutations, all this. If you beat Egypt, this happens to Malawi, that happens to Zambia. Stay focused. Beat Egypt silly. Beat them so well first, and then wait, let football do it, Malawi might go into that game and say, okay, let's play safe and play a draw with Zambia, and that would give Nigeria, the clear road into the next round. Or they might go there and then they lose to Zambia, but maybe in a scoreline that favors Nigeria. I don't like permutations, so I've been keeping away from it. Let me give it to Cecilia, who is right there in Rabat. Cecilia, you will do all of the calculations for me. Good to have you on Sports Tonight, Cecilia Morbe. Awesome. Cecilia, tell me, what's the mood ahead of that? Now it's a big game. I don't care if it's just Egypt. What's the mood in the camp of the Super Eagles as they get ready to play Egypt?
Okay, Cecilia might have to unmute so that we can have this conversation. If you can hear me, Cecilia might have to unmute. Okay. All right, so while we're trying to sort that out, Katie, I want to get your thoughts. I remember last time out, we wanted to play Zambia, and some of us were feeling insulted because they were calling us the underdog against Zambia because we didn't do well in the group stage. But I don't think any of us can be offended anymore. Yeah. Debutants beat us. We granted out a 1-0 victory over Zambia. If they had added 5 minutes to that game, we probably would have lost that game. But it was a performance worthy of champions.
Yes, and also another worry is the younger part of our central defense is the one who is red carded, Demey, in the last game. So that defense line
puts pressure.
Yes, it puts pressure. Respect to Ohale, but Ohale is the older one. Demey is the younger, sharper one. So it gives us worry. And see, the defense also, even on that day, we saw how well. We had to, because it's Zambia. They are fantastic. But fantastic, hold up, fantastic champion stuff being displayed. I think that is the game. If anything goes so well in this competition, Nigeria against Zambia is one of those games the girls should go back to and say this was where we told the entire Africa that we're not just one of those teams. I think it was a masterclass performance, 1-0, I don't care. You needed that result in that game and they got it. And that should be the propelling push for Egypt. I don't believe in you beat a team silly and all of that, but there are days it needs to happen. There are days you need to beat Egypt properly.
I've been hearing a lot of things. I want to ask you. I'm going to allow Austin and hopefully if we get Cecilia. From evidence, the 2 games that we saw, Nigeria couldn't handle the physicality Malawi brought. Couldn't handle Zambia. It could have been worse. We could have gotten more than just one red card.
True.
Now, I don't know. Is it that we are now having so much flair, we're losing physicality? Because this physicality was never an issue because we're always beating people silly. We never needed to use it. But of course, we're Africans, we're Nigerians, we're West Africans. We are physical. And it is something that is part of our game. Should it be sacrificed? Because it was clear we couldn't handle
2 things. One, coaches are watching the Super Falcons. They now know where our strength lies. We love to move the ball around. We've got players who can do that. In fact,
with flair.
With Michel Alozie. I'm trying to remember who is on the other side. We have like inverted, fullbacks who can really move the ball upfield and all of that. Then also look at the infusion of the team right now. Before, it used to be almost 70-30. 30 for the foreign players, 70 for the home base, who play physical, games every now and then in their league. Today is almost 80, 85 to 15. In fact, you can say 90 foreign players. Everybody comes. Oladipupo, who was yesterday still playing in our league, is now playing abroad.
I'm gonna put you on a pause.
Yeah.
Let's listen to the coach of the team, who probably has answers to some of the questions that we are asking. And of course, Austin will share his thoughts with us. Coach Justin Madugu and one of his players sharing their thoughts ahead of the crucial must-win game against Egypt.
Said it sounds funny, but it's a serious matter. We have done all the various permutations of what can get us through, and we know exactly which of the permutations can take us through. We want to have our fate in our hands and not leave it for anybody to decide for us. So we are going straight for what we know will put us through, and that we are aware of. There are so many ingredients that make a team succeed. So many ingredients that make a team succeed. And even on the field of play, sometimes you also there are things you acquire in the process of the game you play that you can also transfer to others. If we still feel Odega is not doing too well, we would not have brought her for this competition. After every game, you have to go back, sit down, do an analysis, and then assess the performance of the team. Like you said, a lot of things went wrong, particularly in the first game, which we went back, do some corrections, and try to make sure that we avoid a repeat of it in the next game. And we all agreed that it was much better in the second game. In spite of the fact that we won, it doesn't mean we still did not make mistakes. There are areas that we still made mistakes that we still need to continue to work on. We are quite aware of that. We are looking at all those areas. It's always work in progress. You cannot say you have done everything up to the end of the tournament, because the opposition is not the same. The strategy they adopt will not be the same. So you also must be making constant changes here and there based on the approach that you see from the opposition. And we are doing our best to make sure that all those sort of weaknesses or challenges that we notice in the games, we try to address them with the players. We look at them critically with the video shows, point out some of those mistakes that we do for them to even see themselves. And then we make corrections in that area and we move on.
All right, welcome back. Well, Cecilia Monaco is ready for us. Let's just go straight to her. Cecilia, greetings to you. Thanks for joining us. Just dive straight into it. We have a few minutes to go. What's the mood in the camp of the Super Falcons?
Yeah, I think as usual, the Super Falcons are super form and ready for the game against Egypt. They understand the task that is ahead. They know that they have to win to be able to get into the quarterfinals, and all the focus is to get the World Cup ticket and, of course, possibility of retaining the trophy. But for some of the players, really, we asked a lot of questions. The coach, you also listened to him talking. Well, we've got two players that will not be playing. Jennifer Chiguni, for instance, Tosin Dimei, those because of cards that they picked up, they will not. But he says he's got capable replacement for these players. And then we're looking at Monday Gibbs, Joe Omewa, who they've not played in the team. But he also said that every players will definitely get their time, opportunity to play. So we can see, we could maybe just say that there are going to be a lot of changes, in the game against Egypt tomorrow. Whatever is the stake, especially in regards to that centre back and also the midfield where you have those key players, and Deborah Abiodun, the fact that the last time, she had enough, but then she was fully fit, training with the team in camp. We know also Chamaka Nandozie, she's fully back, and we saw her display against Zambia. So according to all of them, they said no cause for alarm. So this is a game they know they have to win. there's a lot of calculations, permutations going around, especially with the fact that there's a cordial relationship between Zambia and Malawi. So going by that friendship that they have, they call themselves sisters. I was at both of their press conferences today. I just hope and pray that they don't collude and then maybe Zambia will win, because they need maybe Zambia beating Malawi by as much as 4-3. Two of them will go through, no matter the result the other way, because when it comes to the goal difference, Zambia is on -1 now, so they know they have to beat Malawi for them to go through. But will that happen, and with what margin they are going to do that? So that's the big question here. So the Super Falcons, for the first time in a long while, we're actually scared, using calculator. That's what we do with the Springles, but now it's for the 10 times African champion. So whatever is going to happen tomorrow, the Super Falcons understand the mission. Beat Egypt by maybe as much as 4 goals, or even by a long goal. But if you beat them by a long goal, you're looking at results from the other side. So we now have to start using goal difference, in qualification, especially if all of them are tied on 6 points. And we also know that for the Super Falcons, when it comes to fair play is also another tiebreaker that they use to determine who's going to scale through. They've got cards. So it simply means that in terms of fair play, they're not there. The only thing they can do now is to look at goal difference, and also hoping and praying that just Malawi will come good the way they came good against Falcons and Egypt and beat Zambia. Once that is done, then Super Falcons will be in the quarterfinal.
All right. We hope everything turns out well for the Super Falcons. Cecilia, I want to thank you for your time on the show. We hope that when next we speak, we'll be talking about the victory for the Super Falcons.
Hopefully.
All right. That's our colleague Cecilia Warogwe, all the way from Rabat in Morocco, filling us in with what is happening in the camp of the Super Falcons. Austin, I guess we're pressed for time. You want to give us your 2 cents? We are scared, it must be said. For the first time in a long while, there is the possibility that the Super Falcons might not make it to the next round. Might not make it to the next round. There is a possibility.
It is there, but there's also a huge chance that they will make it to the next round. And I think that's the positivity we need to champion. That's what the ladies need to go into that game against Egypt, try and beat Egypt silly. As I said, Malawi, Zambia easily can play a draw result, and that's what we're hoping for. But you see what I always say, remember that my talk, I say, it takes just one draw or one loss, and your campaign, you will just start asking questions. Who would have thought? The Super Falcons, 10-time African champions, and this WAFCON tells us qualifiers for the World Cup. God, I beg. That's the show in London. I'm Austin Okonakwan, and in everything you do, remember, keep talking sports. Bye for now.
All right, I also says God, I beg. All right, that's a wrap here in Lagos. But before we go, I want to thank Kehinde Idris for his time on the show. Hopefully, we'll do this again some other time.
Hopefully, I'll take the words of Chairman kind of does. He said, we're Bona sisters, we just need your prayers and your support. God, I beg. It's good to be here.
All right, as we go, we leave you with the words of Osinachi Ohale speaking ahead of the crucial game tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your day. We'll see you tomorrow. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Bye-bye now.
Tomorrow is another good day. I think it's even more important than the first and second game we played. We already know what's at stake. We know the importance of the game, and we're going to take it with all seriousness and even do much better than what we did in our last game. Yeah, 6 WAFCON, 5 champions, and this is my 7th one with the team, and it's still the same passion, the same love for the game and all of that. That's what has been pushing me, and the love in the team. It has always been there. It has always remained the same. I know most of you are expecting to hear something, but we'll keep pushing, and then we'll make sure we take the 6th one for myself and then the 11th one for the country.